Welcome back, Lords Mobile fans. Thank you very much for joining me. And starting this one off, we have some solo trap baiting. I've moved to a new kingdom. There's some really big players here, RP and Fennok running around, and I'm really worried about his infantry coming in. And just as I do the baiting tactic for a second time, sure enough, Fennok ports in out of nowhere, and I was 100% sure I was going to burn. But as you can see, I actually cap with barely any losses, and he is 900% plus, so that is awesome. The best test yet. And I was messing around in Dragon Arena the night before. I was really confused why I had capped him with so little losses, and it actually turns out I was accidentally in cav formation, so he got countered by my T1 frontline, which for me is absolutely unheard of. I was told that I should not switch out of infantry. I've only got a T2 infantry frontline, and I took it in cav flanks, only took 13k wounded, only a 1.3 million might drop. You can see obviously Fennok has all of the familiars, he's got all of the gear, and it is just so awesome to accidentally take this hit in cav flanks and find out that really I don't need to be burning from infantry marches anymore. I can, if it's safe to do so, I can switch into cav flanks, and apparently I can cap a 900% infantry player no problemo. So this was absolutely massive for me because I have been getting headbutted by massive infantry players, not as big as Fennok. Just 800% is enough to headbutt my infantry frontline, and it usually burns me as well as filling up my beds full of T2, so knowing that I can now take an infantry march in cav formation is a complete game changer when I've got these big players hitting me with infantry. And here we have the incredible DaniFrancine from RP just soloing another solo trap that was actually baiting by Scout in Darkness. I posted him in the Kingdom chat actually saying that he has 1 million troops, but I didn't know how many troops he had. I kind of wanted people to just come and give me attention, but he actually ended up getting soloed and shields, losing 15 million might to Dani. And then I asked if she would like to test my solo trap, and she said she would love to. And I was very interested to see what she would send. She sent infantry, so here I go, switching into that T1 front line, which, considering I have been a solo trap that can't swap his formation all of my solo trapping career, now actually being able to swap into cav to cap that infantry no problemo. This really is a game changer, and as you can see there, barely any might, losing just over a million might, and not even giving me any reds. 561k wounded, a really convincing cap for that T1 front line. And so you can see from this in detailed report, I am actually taking some ranged T1 wounded as well, but I'm assuming that is from the familiar that targets the largest squad. So another really convincing cap. I was wondering if the Fennok cap on that T1 front line was a bit of a fluke, but apparently not. And moving on, Dani was decided to chuck out a range bullet, and this is the most powerful range solo I have ever capped. So switching back into that T2 front line, I didn't manage to record it. I was a little bit slow, she was very quick, and I was more worried about making sure that I took this solo correctly, because you really don't want to get countered by a range solo like this. So had I have still been in cav, you can imagine the type of damage that will do. So I've really got to be careful when I'm switching into that T1 cav front line, but I would say this is some really vital science, and I was really excited to run around telling everyone that I am actually managing to cap these players not only without T3 in my comp, like a lot of people are choosing to have, but actually managing to cap them with a T1 frontline regardless of how strong their infantry was. And you can see Fennok putting in, he didn't actually realise that me and Dani were testing. He saw that I was 2.5 million might down, and without the chance to heal my beds, I decided to switch into cavalry formation. And you can see I was pretty annoyed here. I was getting ready to migrate, and then I thought I would give them a little bit of a chance to explain what went wrong, because I was a little bit annoyed that Dani was testing and then Fennok ports in and catches me with my beds full. But I definitely made the correct decision. Rather than clearing out my beds with that Fennok march coming towards me, I decided to switch into cav formation, cap him no problem, and make him my pet for the second time in 24 hours. That incredible inf was a great bit of science in the name of ChaCha. And if it wasn't for Fennok hitting me when I was accidentally in the wrong formation, I would have never realised that I could actually cap Inf that convincingly. So a 1.3 million mic drop, 583k reds. I was a little bit salty about the reds, but T1 is so easy to build back compared to T4 and T5. So I was not worried, and it was, like I say, some great science in the name of ChaCha. So after that unarranged solo, I did decide to be a good ChaCha and give their leaders back, mainly because I wanted to catch Fennok running some of these infantry rallies, and unfortunately he did loads, but I only managed to grab this one. So 261 million might, that infantry rally coming in from Fennok. He had no anti-scout, we knew this was going to be beautiful, knocking down to 208 million might. He of course was offline, but he was in war gear. He was in range formation, sending that Inf rally with a 3.3 million red toll, leaving 2.1 million survived. And with that 2.1 million survived, I was actually expecting Fennok just to solo that and some of the bigger players just to come in and solo that. But he actually started another rally just to wipe it out clean, and also that shares the kills with the guild. And I think that's pretty nice of Fennok to do that, because he could definitely hit that with a cav solo and wipe that out in one pretty much. But coming in, this guy didn't come online and shield, so we do get to share the kills amongst the guild, wiping out the rest of that Inf with that cav rally. And an awesome little zero from Fennok, a nice 2 million red count, a 39 million mic drop, cleaning him out very nicely, and that is of course the zero complete. Awesome that he didn't come online and we did get to share those kills for the last rally. So moving on, we have my amazing Loco that has set up a Gryphon trap on his alt account. So he got the Gryphon maxed, and he is now letting me have a little bit of a play. And this is cool because obviously the account has less kills and people are more prone to falling for it a bit easier. And I'm hoping here that I can get a Gryphon target for the guild. This is a very free to play Gryphon trap, so I'll probably do an account overview on this at some point. I'm going to keep the gear very free to play. But on this one, you won't even be seeing the gear. Oftentimes when I'm Gryphon trapping, I don't even need to use my gear. So with this leaderless T4 coming at me, I'm just looking to cause some damage to a few individuals. And with my troopers now coming zooming home, I'm very much hoping that the damage will be enough on the 340 million might player. Hopefully I will knock him down, take away some of his leaderless T4 infantry. And despite the fact that I do not capture his leader there, I'm thinking he could be a really good target if we send a range rally. If he's lost a load of infantry and his guild don't come online to replace those infantry losses, he could have a really hard time countering a full range rally. So an awesome job from the Loco Gryphon trap, and I love that man so much for giving me a new toy to have some fun with. And I couldn't help but notice that this guy here has no infirmary space, and he is the one that we are interested in getting that range rally on. So we've got Drakey releasing the monstrous range rally, shooting towards him. He's in infantry gear, and I'm pretty sure as soon as I saw that inf gear, I was like, oh no, Drakey is about to get capped. But no, we see that beautiful fire burning, the absolute monstrous Drakey coming in, knocking it down to 280 million might. A really nice 55.7 million might drop, a 1.8 million reds, and he has no right going into Fury and farming the Gryphon trap, getting Gryphon trapped a few marches of T4, not losing his leader, getting slapped by Drakey. We had a tracker on him, and then Ego comes in with a infantry solo, burns him off of the Wonder. He did the right thing, port into the Wonder, I suppose, but if he was clever enough, he probably would have just tried to hide those troopers before we got the solo in. But Ego comes smashing in with a 22 million might drop, absolutely savages the rest of those troopers, leaving very little survived. And taking into consideration that is the very first Gryphon pull on the Loco Gryphon trap, that is not a bad way to start things. Getting a Gryphon victim, a beautiful rally for the guild, and then an awesome solo from Ego, leaving him at pretty much zero. And moving on, we have a really interesting target here. This one has been recorded for me by Ego, and this guy is not running anti-scout. He has got a ridiculously massive troop comp, and he's actually sat in half war gear, half construction gear, so we're unsure if this guy is online. But we are up for swinging a YOLO at him nevertheless. I'm assuming these guys got his formation. I am very much assuming that he was offline, but like I say, I'm not too sure. We're just going to see the Shiro infantry rally come rocking in, and see how it goes. This guy has a ridiculous 10 million T2 range, and you would think with a comp like that we are never going to see the fire burn, but we do. An absolutely awesome hit from the one and only Shiro, causing a 60 million might drop and over 4 million reds. This guy had over 19 million troopers, and still he gets absolutely spanked. 6.5 million total casualties in that bloodbath, and it was a little bit upsetting we didn't get to continue rallying that guy. I'm assuming he come online and shielded, and very possibly the story for this one that he was actually online thinking that it would go a little bit better than that, but I'm not sure what the story is. Either way, I know Shiro is very scary and I would not want to headbutt a rally from him. That is something I definitely know. And moving on, we have another Gryphon trapping experience on the brand new Loco Gryphon trap, and like I say, the gear on this is very free to play. This guy is actually sending his leader, and still I'm not going to bother switching gear. I'm just going to hopefully cause some damage to him and just have a little bit of practice on this Gryphon trap, and basically give this guy the ChaCha Gryphon trap in Slim Fast. He looks a little bit too fat at 700 mil, so we are going to see how much we can drop him down, pulling those troops home, random relocating away, capturing a leader as well. And just looking into these reports, you can see that despite the fact he was sending his leader and he was sending T4 375k, I really didn't take much damage at all. So a really solid Gryphon trap, and 705 mil, the ChaCha Slim Fast, leaving him at 651, and knocking him down over 50 million might is pretty crazy to think that this guy actually got away lucky. He got the ChaCha Gryphon Slim Fast, but actually it was lucky he didn't get the SizeMatters full Slim Fast treatment with the rally as well, because he lost over 1 million T4 infantry, so God knows how a range rally would have went. But just looking at his profile, I actually noticed that he had never been executed, and rather than waiting for the ransom, I thought, you know what, how about we change that right now? So I went ahead, got a cheeky little alter boost on the Gryphon, and rest in pieces his leader for the very first time in his Lord's mobile career, and I wish him all the very best for the future. Thank you very much for watching this one. Please do hit that like and subscribe, and no doubt I'll see you soon.